What's going on out there, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Champ Bobbitt, co-founder of Skyton Academy, and this is episode 83 of Connect Wednesdays. Today, our topics are going to be the White House Crypto Summit. We're going to talk about the Strategic Crypto Reserve. We're going to talk about the SEC dropping almost all of its cases, enforcement cases. And then last but not least, we're going to go over the SEC's Crypto Task Force. So I want you guys to strap in, prepare yourselves for a wild ride. It's going to be informative, and I'll get you guys out of here. All right. So let's get into it. So this is Connect Wednesdays. For those of you who are brand new, who have never joined us until tonight, this is where we break down the most important topics in crypto, finance, global economics, basically so you can stay ahead of the curve, and not to mention artificial intelligence. Um, Today's episode is a definite game changer. So we're going to be talking about the major shifts in crypto policy and regulation and a historic White House crypto summit, the SEC dropping its lawsuits left and right. So if you guys are in cryptocurrency, which I know most of you live are, everybody that's out there that's watching this on replay, if you are in crypto or interested in crypto, you definitely want to pay attention because what's coming next is going to impact every single investor, every crypto project, and the future of digital assets as we know them. So, first things first on the agenda, let's dive into the White House Crypto Summit. So, this is going to take place on Friday, March 7th, 2025. So, for the first time in history, the White House is actually hosting a crypto summit with some of the biggest names in the industry. Now, this summit isn't just another conference, it's the first serious step towards crypto policy integration at the federal level. Now, this statement alone poses a question, even for myself. Why is this happening now? Well, I got the answer for you. The Trump administration, their stance since before even taking office was always to make the United States the crypto hub of the world with a strong focus in crypto, AI, and blockchain. So this summit is expected to basically lay the foundation for the strategic crypto reserve, which is something else we're going to cover a little later on, but it's the government-backed reserve of key digital assets. And today, the Trump's Commerce Secretary, this is Howard Lutnick, he announced that Trump is going to reveal the Bitcoin reserve strategy during this crypto summit. So, how the US is going to basically accumulate and utilize Bitcoin and other crypto assets to strengthen the financial system. So, before I dive into a couple of the potential strategies that they could unveil, I want to show you guys something. All right, so bear with me. All right, so what you guys are looking at right now, this is the confirmed list of all the attendees, and we're talking about big wigs. So I'm gonna walk you guys through this just so you understand how impactful and powerful this is. So right now you're looking at the list and it just looks like names, right? So let me do you guys a favor. Let me do you a solid. So first person that I'm gonna run down. I'm not gonna highlight every single person on this list, but I wanted to show you guys that this is an active list and these people are confirmed. So you got Micro Strategies founder, Michael Saylor. He's a big Bitcoin buff, Bitcoin maxi. He's gonna be in the building confirmed. We've got David Bailey, that's the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine. We've got Matt Huang. He is the co-founder of Paradigm. We've got JP Richardson, the CEO of Exodus. Kyle Samani, he is the managing partner at Multi-Coin Capital. Now, that's a big player. So, everybody who is kind of tuning in, whether this is your first time or whether you're a Skyton Academy member, make sure you guys are kind of making a mental Rolodex of these names because these are important people that you're going to kind of need to look forward to hearing data and news from. You've got Zach Witkoff. He's the co-founder of World Liberty Financial. That's Trump's coin. That's going to be used for DeFi for institutional, on the institutional side. So that's huge. You've got Sergey Nazarov. He's the co-founder of Chainlink. You've got Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase. You got the CEO of Robinhood, Vlad Tenev. You've got the CEO of Kraken. His name is Arjun Sethi. You've got Chris Mars Zalik. He is the CEO of crypto.com. And then this is my guy, right? I saved the best for last. This is my guy, Mr. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. He is going to be in the building. This is confirmed. So you guys can see that there's some big behemoths that are going to be in the building. And every single one of these people, they control a big stake in the crypto space. So, first of all, this summit is just massive. We've never had anything like this before, ever. So my excitement, I truly hope it's being communicated, right? I hope you can feel this oozing through the screen because we are on the cusp of something that has never happened before. We truly don't know exactly what to expect. Of course, they're not going to reveal that to the public until after the event itself, but I've got a couple brainiac points that I kind of want to sit with and then kind of present to you guys. So I was looking at just the past 60 days, right? Since Trump's been in office, we've had a ton of advancements in the crypto space, in the AI space, with policy, with basically how the space is going to unfold. How are they going to actually use cryptocurrency? How are they going to leverage this technology, right? You're starting to see new players getting put in place, new positions that never existed before become created. And what this means for the retail investor is this is uncharted waters, but you've got the perfect person for the job. And then you've got the perfect people for the job, right? So there's a lot of chess pieces on the board now. I understand that a lot of these guys are new, but a lot of them have history. So if you've been in the space for a while and you kind of know how to connect dots, you're able to backtrack and see who some of these people are, what their background is, what they've done for the space, what kind of collaborations have they been a part of, what advancements in different industries have they, partaken in. And here's some of the strategies that I'm thinking are basically going to be unveiled based on who some of these people are. So, four key things. This is going to be direct government purchase. So, the US could begin accumulating Bitcoin as a reserve asset, which is similar to gold, right? But you've got now a multitude of other assets. So, it's no longer the Bitcoin reserve. They now changed it to the strategic crypto reserve. And I'll go over that in a moment. Also, the next thing is going to be corporate incentives. So Trump is big on finding and navigating through the tax breaks and tax systems. So he's definitely going to, in my opinion, he's going to offer up some tax benefits to corporations holding Bitcoin and some of these other cryptocurrencies as part of their treasury. So you're starting to see that unveil right now in real time. There's a lot of Fortune 500 companies who are now stepping in saying, hey, listen, I want parts of cryptocurrency. I want Bitcoin. Let's get it. So they've been actually purchasing Bitcoin and they've been just basically coming up with proposals for their board, basically saying, are we going to actively and aggressively hold Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a reserve? The third point is going to possibly be regulatory clarity. This is the one thing that we've been waiting on for so long. But with Trump's policies and his administration, they have been truly aggressive since they got in office about establishing clear legal frameworks to encourage far more adoption without stifling innovation. That is the biggest hurdle that we've had. And I would be remiss if Trump had this opportunity to address some of the biggest names in the crypto space and they aren't actively working on something or announcing something in regards to regulatory clarity, right? We need rules. We need the lay of the land. And I think it's going to happen soon, but I truly know that it's going to happen under this administration. I can't see it happening no later than this one. All right. So we've got All three covered. Last but not least, stable coins and CBDC integration. So CBDCs definitely not a fan of, right? If you know anything about us, you know that we do not stand for anything CBDC, right? The reason being is because for those of you who do not know, central bank digital currencies is basically controlled money. It is where you can't save your way at all through it. You can't save your way to wealth now, but definitely with a CBDC, they have time limits, they have restrictions, there's all kinds of limitations, and it's basically 100% transparent. So every dollar, every time you spend money using a CBDC or any place that you would spend a CBDC at, it's all tracked, it's all surveilled, right? And we don't want that. So I hope CBDCs, I know for sure in the United States, CBDCs, based on Trump's previous talking points, he stated 100% the United States will not have a CBDC, right? So I'm glad whoever hit him to this or educated him on that side of the house, I'm glad that they did so, right? And, the truth remains to be seen. All we can do is just hope, but make sure that we have our bags packed in the right digital assets, doing our due diligence, making sure that we're just eyes open, right? That's the biggest key. Making sure we have our eyes wide to new data, to new information, and just so we know how to migrate and move around how we need to. So everybody that's a Skyton Academy member, you know what time it is. But everybody that's on the outside, if you looking for some more clarity and you need a place, you need a home, Skyton Academy is it. We got you covered. All right. So, what does all of this information mean essentially for the crypto industry? So, you're going to have institutional and retail investors that gain clarity. Now, this is high key, one of the most important things. When you have institutions that don't have a lay of the land, when they don't have clear rules to follow, they can't launch certain products. They can't adopt these digital assets legally because they do not have rules. They don't have a clear layout or guideline to follow, right? Next, you've got the potential tax incentives for holding and trading American made cryptos. And then last but not least, the US is positioning itself as the leader in digital assets instead of trying to fight them as they previously have been doing. Under the last administration, it was war. It was literally war on crypto. Those days are over. Trump has came out and he stated, I've ended the war on cryptocurrency and digital assets. And you can see this in real time. So I'm super excited about what's to come. I truly hope that a lot of the things that get discussed at this White House summit are just innovative, they're progressive, and they lead us into more adoption, which means more profits, more eyes on, more people coming into the space, actually using and benefiting from cryptocurrency. So this is why we always stressed being early to the party. All right. So I hope you guys got your bags packed because we really don't know what's about to happen. But if the writing is on the wall, it's looking real good for everybody that's been here and they got their bags packed. Next, I want to get into the strategic crypto reserve. So I'm actually shocked behind this because this news just came out a couple days ago. Yesterday, actually. So, no, I take that back. Today is the 5th. It came out on the 3rd. So 2 days ago, a couple days ago. Trump administration and Trump himself on Truth Social, he announced that there is going to be a strategic crypto reserve. See how I put the emphasis on crypto? So it's no longer just Bitcoin, right? Now, this is going to include Bitcoin, Ethereum, you've got Cardano, you've got Solana, and you've got XRP. Now, this is historic for two reasons. So it recognizes certain cryptocurrencies as strategic assets. This is a basket of cryptocurrencies and they named them. They put them on center stage and they shine the lights on them and gave them all a microphone. Now, every single one of these projects outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, they've been actively working and trying to improve their ecosystems, what they do. They solve real world problems and they have utility, right? So, really, at this point, those three are great focal points. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you that this is common sense. And I understand that common sense is not always common, but you now have the president of the United States, and his focus is to make the United States the crypto hub around the world. And he is telling you that they have created and are creating a strategic crypto reserve, and he gave you exact projects that are American made. And I think there's a lot of benefits that would benefit a retail investor who actually held these crypto assets. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what I know. All right. So not only does this kind of situate these cryptocurrencies on the main stage, it potentially classifies American made cryptos completely different than all others. This opens the door for what Trump is known for, more tax incentives. Now, could we see a zero capital gains tax for holding American made cryptos? Definitely a possibility, and I say a strong one. Now, this would encourage investment and give these projects like Cardano and XRP and Solana a competitive edge over foreign-based networks, especially here in the United States. Now, we make up a huge, huge sector of people to invest in financial technology, right? Now, right now, we're looking at about 3 to 5% of the global population only being involved in crypto at this current moment. Now, think about this. This strategic reserve goes through. He's already put these crypto projects on the main stage. And there's a ton of the rest of the world. There's literally 97% of the entire world that's still not, 97 and 95% that's still not invested in cryptocurrency. What do you think this is going to do as far as adoption? As far as now you have people who are already interested in cryptocurrency, but there's thousands of cryptos. So how do they know which one to choose, right? Before they even get the knowledge. Everybody isn't privy to Skyton Academy, but we're going to definitely change that. But people are out here shooting in the dark. There's 30,000 plus cryptocurrencies. He just put five right in your face, three of which are American made. What do you think that is going to do for those projects? All right. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of projection, right? Beyond the tax benefits, inclusion in a national reserve, this completely legitimizes each and every one of these projects, even though they don't need it right now. But just in the grand scheme of things, this makes them even more credible than they were before. And this could drive massive institutional adoption. So all of those Fortune 500 companies that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting with billions and trillions of dollars in capital, and they're ready to get into the space, but they're just waiting on regulatory clarity, it's coming, right? So I don't really like to give price predictions or price projections. But what I can say is I expect a significant movement if the government actually starts accumulating large reserves of each of these tokens, right? Now, if adoption accelerates, these assets could see massive integration into payment systems, which is what is already happening. So this is not really an if, it's a when. You've got remittances and real world finance. The world is still using the old antiquated systems that we've known for the past 100 years. We are at that 100-year mark, and every 100 years, there is a huge shift in the payment process and how we're operating. So, what I want you guys to do is put all of these things into context and actually sit with this information that I'm giving. And then when you're on your own, understand the opportunity that is in front of you right now. You guys are at such a pivotal moment in history. So when we told you guys this was going to be the greatest wealth transfer ever, we 100% meant that. And this is showing you in real time, March 5th, 2025, exactly the opportunity in front of you. So it is 100% up to you guys to seize the moment, to seize the opportunity. And because I know a lot of you guys that are on this call right now are members of Skyton Academy, I already know you guys are delivering and doing your part. So I'm honored to be sitting here right beside Steve to be able to present this information to you guys because this is life changing. This is going to change things for you, your family, your family's family, and your family's family's family. All right? Understand that. Now, that's bad talk. Now, this is something that I am elated to see. The next thing on the list is going to be the SEC dropping lawsuits against major crypto players. I was infuriated over these years because I personally was impacted by what was happening with the SEC. Now, the job of the SEC itself is literally to protect retail investors. Do you know who the retail investor is? And I'm asking, this is not a rhetorical question. For everybody who's got your cameras on, if you know who the retail investor is, raise your hand. If you are the retail investor, raise your hand. 100% correct. It's you guys. You, I, all of us, we're all included. We are the retail. We are the guys who get impacted. We're supposed to be the guys that are being protected by the scammers, the schemes, all of the illicit activities that go on in all financial realms, right? But when it comes to this new digital paradigm, this new digital revolution that we're faced with, we are we have to be protected, right? The SEC was I guess the entity that was poised to do so. But truthfully, they weren't protecting us from anything. They were actually causing harm. So I'm not going to live in the past, but I just wanted to give people that context because I know there are some people who just have no clue who the SEC is, what they do, what their role is. So I'm going to break this down for you guys. So I got curious. I saw some news that came out, and it was the SEC dropping the Kraken lawsuit. For those of you who do not know, Kraken is a cryptocurrency exchange, and they got bought into litigation. Now, every one of the cryptocurrency companies that got bought into litigation, it was all for one reason: simply the SEC leading with enforcement. They didn't care about what the exchange did. They didn't care about nothing. They just wanted to bring you into a room, have a meeting with you, and then while you're in the meeting, they announce, we're going to sue you. We're bringing litigation against you. And they've done this across the board. So I'm going to highlight in the last 60 days, right? Just 60 days since about January 5th, the SEC has dropped multiple high profile cases against crypto companies. The first one was going to be Coinbase. So they dropped the lawsuit against Coinbase, and this is the Coinbase for you, those of you who do not know, this is the largest US crypto exchange, right? Last month. Now, this case was initiated back in 2023 under Biden, and it alleged that Coinbase operated as an unregistered securities exchange. Now, they dismissed it last month, and this was confirmed by Coinbase's chief legal officer. I think his name was Paul Gruel, something like that. This marked a significant victory for Coinbase, right? And this was a big victory for everyone because Coinbase, again, is the largest US-based cryptocurrency exchange. So with the SEC bringing Coinbase into litigation, imagine if the largest exchange that was for US customers gets brought into, into litigation, and then you never know. What if they had to shut down, right? Or this cuts off the head. This is stopping a lot of people and stifling a lot of people from being able to purchase cryptocurrency, especially if they're new, because Coinbase is super user friendly, right? It's a beginner's exchange. So I was definitely excited to hear that. They also dropped the Binance case, right? Where a federal judge, this is the day before Love Day. So this is February 13th. a federal judge granted a joint request by the SEC and Binance to stop the ongoing litigation for 60 days. And what they're doing is it's basically pending new regulatory guidance from the SEC's crypto task force that just got initiated. So while it's not a full dismissal, this signals this is a big signal that there's a potential or possible resolution in the upcoming days, right? So we're going to see, but this is great because this shows how the SEC is now shifting its approach from enforcement to collaboration. So next you've got Kraken. Kraken, of course, I showed you guys this. This is what sparked all of this. This was what made me go down a rabbit hole to figure out why and who was being sued by the SEC that was just dismissed. So again, Kraken, they were sued, and this was just cleared up last month. The lawsuit was basically that the SEC accused Kraken of operating as an unregistered securities exchange. That's normally what the SEC just kind of hits all of these exchanges with. And basically what they're trying to do is they're just trying to crack down on these exchanges, stop allowing us, the retail investors who are in the United States, to be able to use these exchanges. So this is what, I guess, snowballed into what we now know as Hello on Wheels. So Choke Point 2.0 is one of the biggest problems that every retail investor deals with, right? Everybody that's here in the United States, if there's a project that's not on Coinbase, you know you want to go get it. So you have to go to an international exchange, and these exchanges are not allowing you on, and they're basically shutting down your option of even utilizing the exchange, whether you're trying to use a VPN or not, right? So that's a big problem. But again, inside Skyton Academy, we got the solution for you guys, and that's going to be released to you guys extremely shortly. Steve's actually working on it. That's why he's not with us tonight. You've got Uniswap. So last month, the SEC dropped this investigation into Uniswap Labs, and they got their Wells notice back in, I think it was like April of 2024, alleging that they were an unregistered securities broker in exchange. So the CEO, his name was Hayden Adams. He confirmed the closure of this investigation, of this probe, and it's over. It's a done. And this marked a huge win for DeFi. For those of you who do not know, DeFi is decentralized finance. Uniswap is a big DeFi exchange where you are able to partake in certain activities that are very similar to traditional finance, but now you don't have banks, you don't have middlemen, you don't have intermediaries, so you can loan, lend, stake, you can take out loans, etc. Right? That's the fun part of DeFi. So again, this kind of opens up the realm again, and this is actually making the crypto space a lot greater. You've got Robinhood. I'm not going to go into the rest of these because I don't want to take too much time on this. But you've got Robinhood, you've got OpenSea. Now, for those of you who kind of been with us for a little while, you know OpenSea it's the hub, right? It's the leading NFT marketplace that existed, right? And everything was kind of ETH based on OpenSea, but they opened up a case against them, and it was just closed down February 21st, if I'm not mistaken. You've got Gemini. They had a 2-year investigation that was just concluded last month as well. That probe is over. Basically, that was about the unregistered sale of securities in crypto offerings. So on Gemini, they basically were saying that they had ICOs and they had other projects that weren't registered, and they brought litigation against them. So there's even more. I can continue going, but you've got Consensus. For those who don't know, Consensus is the crypto software company that's behind Ethereum. They basically own Ethereum. So Ethereum is centralized. That's why I always say Ethereum is trash. That's my take. That's the fact I stand on. All right. And then you've got Hex, with their founder, Richard Hart, super flashy guy. But they dropped the case on him last month as well, at the end of the month. And then you had Yuga Labs. So now that you kind of see all of these cases being reversed and being flipped, that's powerful, right? That opens up the door for us to be able to have autonomy, to be able to move how we need to and utilize some of these other exchanges. So just like I've always said, I had a problem when they put this choke point situation on us, and we were literally in war, right? You couldn't use certain exchanges. It just made it super complicated to be able to invest in the things that you wanted to invest in, right? So now that we have a pro crypto president, pro crypto administration, we've got the chess pieces in place, and then we've got working groups that are happening right now, like the SEC Crypto Task Force I'm about to go over. We have the protection that we need, and all of that regulatory overreach that was happening with the SEC is over with. We now have new leadership, and everything is looking on the up and up, right? I don't want you guys to think everything is just going to be green. The path is never just a straight line. It's going to be some ups and downs. It's going to be some ebbs and flows, but that's expected. I want you to understand that. That's literally expected, but we're here. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. All right. Y'all can type in your thoughts below. If y'all think this is good, give me a thumbs up or a fire emoji. If you agreed with how the SEC was operating and you don't want to see crypto flourish, put a trash can. You know what I mean? Because I honestly feel like I can't sleep. As all of this information continues to come out, I'm deep diving. I'm even more curious. I'm tapping into my exploratory phase where I'm a big data guy. I'm a data buff. So as these updates and these innovations are happening, I always want to learn more. I want to know what's happening. I want to connect dots and I want to give it, professional insight. So if you guys share the same sentiment as me, you're probably not actually going to be getting much sleep. You know what I mean? Especially when the real takeoff starts to happen. So just eyes wide because March 7th is going to be huge. Fingers crossed, we find out exactly. I hope that they kind of give us eyes on in the room. I hope maybe they stream it or, live stream it or something like that. But who knows? When you got those type of big wigs and big players in the building, they may want to actually, see what happens in the event and then kind of cherry pick, what we're privy to until things happen and unfold. So we'll see. But all in all, Paul Atkins, he's a known crypto advocate, and he's leading the charge over these fair, innovative, friendly policies that are now unfolding. So I also feel like the SEC's new crypto task force is going to focus solely on guidance instead of enforcement. And Hester Pierce is going to spearhead that. For those of you who do not know, they coined her crypto mom. All right. So while I'm talking about the crypto task force, we can just dive into it. So the SEC crypto task force is a new developed, uh, I guess, regime, if you will, under the Trump administration. And basically their job is led by crypto friendly regulators, and they have one or two goals, right? It's creating clear rules for all crypto businesses in the regulation by enforcement approach, right? And then you have developing a structured framework. We kept hearing this over, under the Biden administration. There was so many people who were so fixated and focused on driving forward. But when you've got an administration who is not on your side and they're not even assisting you, they're going to war with you. A lot of the policies and a lot of the bright minds who were forward thinkers who were trying to create bills and proposals, and they were bipartisan, right? It doesn't matter who started them, but these things were bipartisan. But every single time you would turn around, no matter how far it would get, it would always get shot down, right? So I think now we're in a brand new space, and I absolutely love this because everything just is looking bright for the future, right? So now you're able to get in at great prices on certain projects. You're able to see the landscape as a whole progress, and it just looks a whole lot more favorable, right? It feels like the black cloud is starting to kind of shift and move that's been over crypto's head for quite some time now. All right. So what this means for retail investors and why they actually should care. This means fewer lawsuits, right? less regulatory shifts. When you have these exchanges and these crypto businesses all at war with the SEC and they're being sued left and right, there's so much uncertainty that happens. And when you have uncertainty, what happens to the markets? Almost 99.9% of the time, the markets tank because whenever there's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, people move out of speculative asset classes and they go into traditional things, right? That's why we had a whole bunch of new all-time highs with gold and commodities. Still waiting on silver, but silver is definitely going to perform. So, that's my take on that. But I also feel like crypto will have a better, more defined path for compliance and just legalities. Now, if you have a whole bunch of businesses and you have only 3 to 5% of the global population invested in crypto, there's a lot of room to make a lot of money with these businesses and these institutions that get created, right? So even you, the retail investor, if you have a great idea, I would encourage you to create it because this is the time where everything is crypto friendly right now. So the best part about this is you're able to innovate, to produce, to create, right? And as long as you have a great idea, there's people that are here with tons of money ready to fund a great idea. Even if you don't have the capacity to take it where it needs to go, as long as you can innovate something or create something, even in your mind, and get it on a piece of paper and present it to somebody, I guarantee there's somebody that's willing and ready to fund it, right? So that just is just another nugget. These opportunities are going to continue to be around for you, but you have to seize them, right? But what that means in a grand scheme, I'm looking at this like if the SEC kept attacking everybody and you had an administration who was championing that, like they wanted that to happen, they were making innovation stifle. It was causing friction. So nobody wanted to create anything. Nobody wanted to move forward with anything. Institutions couldn't adopt certain things. And it was a problem, right? So it felt like we were just trading sideways for so many years. Even though there was a lot of things going on, it truly felt like just a sideways motion, right? But we weren't moving and progressing, if that makes sense. So now I feel like we're in a way better space. And I think there's going to be a lot more great ideas, a lot more innovation, a lot more utility. There's going to be new projects that come out and they're going to drop and they are going to disrupt the way that we operate and a lot of the things that we know as our norms. All right. Um, Another thing, US based exchanges and DeFi platforms, we will now be able to compete globally without the fear of being shut down. This is it. This is key, right? The biggest thing is a Coinbase. Coinbase started off as a small company. It grew because it had the foresight. It was one of the first, especially to be compliant with the United States and all laws, all players, right? And they just kept building. They kept expanding. They kept scaling. They got larger and larger and larger just for the simple idea of being an exchange that was user friendly, allowing it the space, the capacity for people to get in, be able to learn on the platform, use it, and not have to worry about all the intricacies, all the deep diving, all the details. Coinbase is just black and white, truth be told, right? I think even my son, he's 14. He can use Coinbase. I've taught him literally how to go on and purchase cryptos. He knows how to fund the wallet and do all things. So if a 14-year-old, 13-year-old can, be able to do this on their own, imagine how easy this has now made things for an adult who might not be tech savvy, right? There's still people who just still to this day, they just really aren't tech savvy. So they're not going to perform well on these big, crazy exchanges that are advanced, right? It takes a certain brain and just learning, and everybody doesn't have that knack, right? So the way to get mass adoption is to make crypto easier to get into, to learn, to buy. right? And that's another one of the reasons why Skyton Academy is always going to be your number one source for all things crypto, because we not only teach this, we give seasoned insights, right? Steve and I both, we've been in this space for 10 years, 20 collective, and both serial entrepreneurs. So we have a different vision. We have a different vantage of analyzing this data, breaking it down, making it really easy to digest, right? So you guys are always on the cutting edge of great information, right? And what it means for you. Now, the bottom line, crypto regulation as a whole in the United States is shifting. So it's no more control. It's all about collaboration, right? And this is huge. This is what we need. This is how we're going to grow as a collective. The goal is to basically create a booming digital economy rather than drive innovation overseas. And we've seen a lot of different big players, Brad Garlinghouse being one of them. He formally stated that if we don't get regulations or if we don't get exactly what we need as a whole, we're going overseas. And they've proven it. About 60 to 70% of their total revenue is generated from overseas banks because they've been at war against the SEC. Now, I I'm gonna just lay it out. XRP is my favorite digital asset, and I'm not pushing this on this call. This is not financial advice whatsoever. But what I'm just telling you is I've done the research, and this was the first crypto that I personally put my money into. So I removed the emotion from it, and I strategically approached what this coin is, what it does, and to now see it being involved in this strategic crypto reserve, this is just, man, this is a full circle moment for me. So there's going to be crypto projects that exist that you guys are going to research, you're going to grow fond of, and it may be your first cryptocurrency investment. As long as you guys are actually using the tools that are available to you, especially inside Skyton Academy, you guys are going to be just fine, right? There are going to be ups and downs. There's going to be a lot of upside that comes with this because we are still in the infancy stages, in the early phases of this new digital shift. So, in conclusion, the future of crypto under Trump's policy, we're witnessing the most significant pro crypto shift in United States history. The White House Crypto Summit could set the stage for mass adoption. So, eyes open for March 7th. The Strategic Crypto Reserve, it validates Cardano, Solana, and of course XRP alongside Bitcoin and ETH. The SEC reversing course, now favoring innovation over regulation. And now we have a crypto task force that's finally creating clear, fair policies. For investors, this just basically means you're about to witness a future with more stability, more clarity, more opportunity. So I need you guys to stay informed, stay in head, and as always, stay with Skyton Academy as we connect the dots. So that's it for this episode of Dot Connect Wednesdays, episode 83. If you guys found this episode valuable, what I want you guys to do, drop a comment. I want you guys to like, share this with your friends, your family, your social media pages, etc. Discuss it, and let's continue to navigate this new era of crypto together. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Same time next week. Let's get it.